What about justice for them?
Those people are victims, and they deserve justice.
What are they victims of?
Murder, but that
By
doesn't
who?
By people.
By who?
By people.
By illegal aliens. Their deaths were completely preventable.
No.
There's a lot of signs that say ICE should be abolished. Do you agree with that?
In a way, yes.
What would we do about some of the people like this? Assault, cruelty towards a child, domestic violence. How do we deport them? How do we deport people in this country illegally before this even happens?
I don't know.
So, but what's the solution? So you want an action to be taken? What?
I don't know the solution.
What do you think about these women who were murdered by illegal aliens?
I don't think anyone's an alien, and I don't think that because someone's illegal that makes them a murderer or makes them opens the possibility to them being a murderer. Just because someone's illegal doesn't mean they should be associated with a murder. It's disgusting that you're doing this and completely disingenuous to any form of truth or journalism.
So what is fake here?
The fact that you are associating the term illegal alien with one, a person, and two, trying to group people who are not in the United States legally with murderers.
So let me explain the signs to you because I don't think you're getting it. Every single one of those women were murdered by an illegal alien who was supposed to be deported out of the country. This isn't fake. These are real women who died.
That. But again, you're associating the term illegal migrant with murderer. That's false. That's like me saying, no. Should I associate the term man with rapist?
Okay. So
because on the whole, more men rape people than women do.
Pan to one of the signs. It says that Melody Waldecker was murdered, and the perpetrator was an illegal migrant. That's just a fact.
Yeah, but why don't you put the person's name? Why do you have to put illegal migrant?
Yeah, because that's who they were.
Yes, but why don't you put their name?
Why does it bother you more?
Are we covering up who the murderer is by not showing their name?
No, but what's interesting is that you're more bothered by what we call the rapist and the murderer on the sign and not using his name. But it's funny that you're more worried about what we call the people who murdered these women and raped these women than the fact that those women were murdered and raped.
What? No, I'm very concerned that they're murdered, and I think we should have systems in place that create a society where people aren't struggling with homelessness and mental issues, and having a healthcare system that provides care for people who have those mental issues, and have a financial system that aids people who are struggling.
Okay, well, let me tell you this. There was a system in place. There is a system in place that would have protected these women.
What is it?
It's called ICE under DHS and immigration
ICE has existed for years.
Yes, here's the thing. Under the Joe Biden administration, they weren't allowed to deport these people. All of the people who murdered these women right here, they were caught and then released because Joe Biden wasn't prioritizing removing people.
I'm gonna let you in on something.
So there is a system.
A lot of people here don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Joe Biden.
I don't care if you like
Joe Biden.
I never said that. But what I'm saying is that they weren't allowed to do their jobs, and then these women died. So you talked about you want systems in place, but there are systems in place. And do you think it's disgusting that they're trying to cover up their photos?
No, because again, I believe those photos are on posters that again are associating the term illegal migrant with murderer, which is not true. In the same way I wouldn't associate the term black with dangerous, or male with rapist, or blonde with dumb.
Yeah, that was very cool of you. Well, I'm more worried about the fact that illegals are killing people rather than the fact that we're calling them with illegals. Yeah.
I will never call anybody illegals.
Today, we're talking to college students about ICE, and almost all of them regurgitated the same left-wing talking points I hear over and over again. So, how did all of these young people wind up saying the same things as the boomers I talk to when they don't even watch cable news? Well, 90% of college students use AI for research, and most are probably going right to ones with huge left-wing biases like ChatGPT and Gemini. And what's worse is that these companies do nothing to protect your data. So the next time you have questions about Donald Trump's immigration policies and don't want tech oligarchs to flag you as a racist, visit Venice.ai/liberty. Let me show you an example. Remember the posters we held up to memorialize the young girls killed by illegal immigrants? Here I'm asking Venice to help me make a list of the victims. With Venice AI, I can do all the research I'm able to without California commies seeing my questions and knowing what I'm up to. Visit venice.ai/liberty and use the promo code LIBERTY for 20% off a pro subscription today.
Support ICE?
Yes, we support ICE. Do you support ICE?
Nah, I can't say I do.
No? Why not?
I don't really like their actions, like, at all. I don't think it's what the federal government should be doing in the slightest.
So what do you think they should be doing differently as ICE?
Well, I think when you have a bunch of masked men in groups coming up to you saying that they're with the federal government, but they really have no actual proof that they're federal officers of the law. They're not law enforcement, they're just federal agents. I don't think
They are a law enforcement agency. They are.
But also, like, why are you just coming up to me, like, in masks? Like, I'm not crazy educated about it, but why are you coming up to me in masks? Like, why are you not showing me your face? Why are you asking for identification to citizens?
Did someone do that to you?
Nah, but, like, I've seen countless videos, like, everywhere on social media, not only, like, on TikTok, literally everywhere. Countless videos of masked men coming up asking for identification for people, and usually they end up being citizens. So I don't really understand, like, why we're doing that.
Okay, why do you think we're doing that?
I mean, obviously we have, this country has a problem. I'm not saying this country has a problem with immigration.
Okay, so what is the problem?
The problem is that we have an influx in immigration, but I really don't think that the problem is in, I think that the problem with immigration lies in the court systems when you cross over the border. I don't think it lies in people. We just have an inefficient court system, because when immigrants cross the border, you go to a court system where you're like, I don't know exactly what goes on, but you cross the border, you go to a court system, but that our court system is so inefficient that it takes like years for them to get to cases.
Actually,
so by the
what
time
happens when you cross the border, you get apprehended by Border Patrol if they catch you. Which actually, in the last 8 months, there have been 0 people that have been apprehended at the border and then released into the interior of the United States. Donald Trump single-handedly closed the border and solved the border crisis in less than a year. Isn't that crazy?
That is absurd to me.
But let me tell you this. So when people cross the border and they get apprehended and then they file for asylum or refugee status, blah, 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 the Joe Biden administration would then send them out into the country and expect them to come back and attend their court hearings. That wasn't happening. People weren't coming back. In Minnesota, just in Minnesota, where we're talking about ICE being right now, these are the people, only a few of the people that they have arrested. Tell me some of their crimes right here. Read that one. Previously arrested for child cruelty and battery.
Massively overgeneralized immigration. Like, you guys act like every immigrant that comes into this country is a criminal.
When did I say that?
This is not. I'm just saying you're showing me like a list of people, and like you're kind of generalizing it to immigration overall. Like, this is 10
I didn't say
people out of
that.
how many immigrants?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Okay. I'm glad that you stand up for the rapists. I've not once in this conversation that's been going on for 5 minutes heard you say anything about the women. I have the women's name up there. You're more worried about the names of the illegal immigrants so we don't hurt their feelings by calling them illegal. You know whose names are on the poster board? The names of the women who were murdered. Those are the people who were on the poster board.
I'm sure.
What about justice for them?
Those people are victims, and they deserve
justice. What are they victims of?
Murder, but that doesn't mean...
By who?
By people.
By who?
By people.
By illegal aliens.
Again.
Completely preventable. Their deaths were completely preventable.
No.
How not?
Well, because I don't think having a stronger ICE, giving ICE more funding, reduces the amount of people who are victims to mental illness, financial need, and myriad of other things that lead people to kill other people.
Okay, so let me tell you this. ICE and Border Patrol, they would have been able to close the border and none of those perpetrators would have been allowed through. That's what I'm saying. Under a strong border.
That?
Yes. all of the
I
people.
don't
Well, let me
see
tell
how
you.
you
Let
could
me tell you
possibly know
this.
that.
Well, we know that because we know who murdered them. They were all people who were caught by ICE under the Joe Biden administration and then released back into the country. They weren't put in jail. They weren't deported when they should have been
Why were they originally detained by Joe Biden's administration?
because they were illegal.
Right, but had they committed any violent crimes beforehand? They could have.
No, they were just, as far as I know, they were
So-
just in the country illegally. And Joe Biden said, "That's okay. You can leave. You can just get back into the U.S."
Well, I mean,
Is that wrong?
people who commit nonviolent crimes get released from jail to await trial all the time.
But they weren't citizens. Do you support ICE?
No.
No.
Not particularly.
Why not?
Wow, I didn't expect this today. My bad.
That's okay. We just love having. There's an anti-ICE protest going on.
See.
So you're more like on their side, right?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think they've killed a few people.
What?
I think they've murdered a few people.
Yeah.
And indirectly as well.
Indirectly. Is that what you said?
Yes.
I just can't hear
Yes,
you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
Okay, so are you against ICE because of those two incidences this month, or have you always been against ICE?
I think they're a fundamentally unhealthy organization to have. I think instead of reforming immigration, they just attempt to crack down on its symptoms rather than address the root cause.
What are the root causes?
I think just a general distaste for foreigners in the U.S. and an idea of exclusionary principles that base ourselves as... I can't think the words. I'm very sorry. This is rather on the spot.
No,
but
it's okay.
just the whole idea of foreigners coming, taking jobs. They're taking jobs that no one else would pay for or want. We base it... A lot of agriculture is immigrants and whatnot.
Well, let me ask you this. So are you on the side of like, there's a lot of signs that say ICE should be abolished. Do you agree with that?
In a way, yes.
Okay. What would we do about some of the people like this who have been arrested in Minneapolis just within the last couple of months? And if you read some of their crimes, assault, cruelty towards a child, domestic violence, terroristic threats, raping children, these people were arrested by ICE agents and taken off the streets. Surely that's a good thing that we can defend and say, well, actually, maybe they shouldn't be abolished.
I just don't see why it has to be ICE.
Who else would it be?
Local law enforcement.
Yeah. Then how do we deport them? How do we deport people in this country illegally before this even happens?
Sorry. Do we...
What agency would deport people?
I don't know.
So, but what's the solution? So you want an action to be taken? What?
I don't know the solution.
So if we abolished ICE today, we would just figure it out?
No. I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay.
I'm on the spot, my bad.
No. No pressure at all. No pressure at all. We're just having a conversation. But I think it's important to think about those things. If we call for abolishing ICE, then how do we deport people? Because would you want that power in the local law enforcement?
In the local as to deport people?
Would you want the Gainesville Police Department to be deporting people?
I don't think that's a legal power.
That's right. Only ICE has that power. So if we abolish ICE, who deports people?
Not sure.
Okay. Well, take that little mustard seed and go think about that a little bit. If you come up with a solution, come find me. 'Cause I haven't heard any yet. I'm saying that ICE they are picking up these people who were already supposed to be deported. These people have come into the country several times. They've raped children. They've committed fraud. They've murdered people. They brought drugs.
I literally have no problem with ICE coming to take these criminals, but I just really don't understand. Like, there's got to be a more efficient way to, like in Minnesota, they're literally just it's masked men who refuse to show their face coming up to random people who are usually citizens and asking to see identification and stuff. I feel
How do you know that?
I feel like there's like a more efficient way to handle immigration.
So tell me how you would change
just
it.
what I'm seeing on like social media and the news.
So you don't think ICE should be abolished?
Do I think I should be abolished?
Yeah.
Yeah, you yourself are a slave.
No, but I don't think that.
Oh, shepherd. It says
I don't know. What I see from ICE right now is just not what I think America is about.
So in Minnesota, that's where we see everything happening right now, right?
Yeah.
Did you know Minnesota is not even in like the top 10 places where the most illegal immigrants are arrested? Texas is number one.
Yeah.
Texas is number one.
Yeah.
You don't see these things happening in Texas. Why is that?
Because the federal government is sending ICE to these small towns. Because
You think Minneapolis is a small town?
No, but they're also like not only in Minneapolis, it's all over
Yes.
Minnesota. Like,
So here's the thing. When they're in Texas, that's the
so
number
why
one
isn't ICE in
place.
Texas though?
Do you know where Texas is?
Yeah.
Where is it?
What do you mean, where is Texas?
Where is Texas? What does Texas border?
It's in the south. It's
Yeah.
on the southern border of like Mexico. And
Yes, that's why ICE is there. They account for 23% of all apprehensions of ICE agents apprehending people. Why don't we see such violence coming out of Texas, but we do in Minnesota?
I have no clue. I don't know. I don't live in either state, so I couldn't answer that question.
I
Like,
guess we'll never know.
Yeah. Well,
Could it be that the people, I think the people in Minneapolis are violent. I think they're violent. They want to fight the federal government. They want to fight ICE agents. They want to go out there and be vigilantes to defend people like this who murder, rape, and commit fraud against the American people. I would never be caught in the streets defending these people.
but could you really like defend what happened to Alex Preddy?
I didn't defend that.
Yeah, but like that's happened 2 times in the same state in the past month? 2 people have been killed by ICE. I mean, what is that?
What is it?
That's horrible.
Yeah,
Why do we
I
have
hate that they're
why do we
dead.
have unqualified ICE federal agents shooting someone when they've already disarmed him? And on the floor, it's a public execution. That makes no sense.
Okay.
And
You think
I'm
that-
sure ICE is doing some good in our country, but I just
Some?
the things that make headlines, like it just.
But that's the
it just
thing.
seems
That's
very
what the
violent.
headlines are happening. I mean, you think ICE is violent, but is sodomizing a little girl and a little boy violent? Is possessing and distributing 200 tablets of ecstasy violence? Is terroristic threats and domestic violence, is
Very
that violence?
Yeah, these people should be like.
This is just from Minnesota. This is just from Minnesota in the past couple of months. This is who ICE has gotten off the streets.
That's good. That's good.
That's good.
But then, like, you have the other side where they're just shooting innocent people.
They're not. That is not a trend. They are not just shooting innocent people. And actually, Alex Preddy would still be alive had they arrested him when he spat on the officers,
Yeah, but
kicked
they
in their
didn't arrest
car.
him. They shot him.
Now I'm talking about the first time that he assaulted an officer, a completely different day. Did you see that video?
No.
Mind if I sub in?
Yeah, go ahead, dude. Thank
Oh,
you.
you tapping out?
Nah, I just don't have anything else to argue. We're arguing like 2 different things, and I understand the side that you're coming from, but
Yeah.
I just don't agree with it.
No, I understand the side you're coming from as well, and I appreciate your willingness to have a conversation.
Do you mind if I ask you a question? Because I saw you were holding up a sign earlier that said, "I support ICE, ask me anything." All right, I just wanted to know what you thought about ICE's practice of not identifying themselves.
Yeah, so where do you see that?
Well, I'm asking you.
Well, so you asked me what do I think about ICE agents not identifying themselves. Where do you see that happening?
All the footage of ICE agents conducting operations online shows them wearing masks over their faces and then refusing to provide actual proof that they really are members of ICE and not say someone dressing up as that.
Right. So when the general public is asking an ICE agent to identify himself, he doesn't have to do that. Everything that they do is under Title 8 in the U.S. Code, Title 8, and it actually outlines there's no identifying feature in there where they have to tell anybody who they are. Usually local law enforcement has to do that, provide their badge number and stuff. So when an ICE agent is going out and conducting official business like an arrest, they identify themselves, say, I'm an ICE agent, and whatever, if they have a warrant, here's the warrant, and then they identify themselves and let that person know that they're under arrest. But the difference is that they aren't usually being arrested with criminal charges if they've just overstayed their visa or they just crossed the border illegally. That's actually a civil and administrative process that happens, and they don't really have to identify themselves. They actually don't even have to read someone their Miranda rights when they're arrested under the civil thing.
Why is that a good thing, though? Why would you support that being the case in the law? that they shouldn't have to identify themselves.
Well, you didn't ask me if I support them not identifying themselves.
Yeah, no, that's...
So I didn't say if I support it or not. I don't think that that's like one huge thing that I have a gripe with. But when they do arrest someone, they do identify themselves.
So, my follow-up to that question, though, is regardless of whether or not you personally support it, it just strikes me as something that seems kind of odd, because it means that if someone were to theoretically dress up as an ICE agent and then go and try to act as if they're arresting someone and impersonate an ICE agent, if an actual ICE agent doesn't have an obligation to identify themselves to someone who's being arrested,
They do. When they're being arrested, they have an obligation to identify themselves.
an obligation using what sort of identification?
So they have to state that who they're with, what they're doing. I don't know if they state their badge number or what specific, but it's under Title 8. They have to identify that they are with ICE, they are a federal officer, and they are being detained and arrested. They do.
So, are we certain that that is always what's happening, though?
Nope, we'll never know. We never know if local law enforcement always does it as well. People dress up as cops and harm women and get into spaces they're not supposed to be all the time.
So, but do you think that hiding faces of ICE agents takes away from the accountability when they are caught on camera? For instance, one important way that people provide accountability for police officers is by filming them conducting their operations, which is, of course, within any civilian's rights to do so. But when an ICE agent hides their face, then it seems to be an intentional act to try to avoid accountability. Does that not seem to be the case?
No, I don't think that they're trying to hide accountability. I think they're trying to protect themselves and their identity because they're being doxxed. Assaults against ICE agents has gone up over 1,000%. Car attacks with vehicles have gone up over 3,200% just in 1 year. And I think it's very smart for them to hide their face so that their families and their children and their wives are not being assaulted at home or sent death threats, because it's happening. I have no problem with people who are doing an important job in this country wanting to stay safe and wanting their family to stay safe as well.
So, in that but even though we don't know that, because of the fact that we don't know that ICE agents are always actually fulfilling their obligation to identify themselves, then then there could just be instances of people more easily impersonating an ICE agent than they could have, say, a police officer, because it's a lot easier to just, like, a police officer has to wear the whole uniform and have a badge. And
so everything you're talking about are hypotheticals. Unless you can point to a specific instance where this is a trend that ICE agents are going around doing this, I would love to see it. But if not, I like to stay grounded in reality. And the reality is that when we want ICE to be abolished or to get out or to not exist anymore, what we're doing is we're allowing people like this to be in our country who should have been deported years ago. These are pedophiles, these are rapists, these are fraudsters. And so this is reality. ICE agents, people dressing up as ICE agents, that's not reality. And if you have proof, I would love to see it. But reality is that these people should have been deported already. And it's unfair that ICE, under the Trump administration, now has to go out in a force like this because Joe Biden wouldn't let them do their jobs.
what about the plenty of criminals such as those who aren't migrants and are just U.S. citizens? Because, sure, there are migrants who are committing crimes like that, but there are also plenty of non-criminal migrants and plenty of criminal non-migrants.
Yep, we can talk about American citizens committing crimes next if you want to. This conversation is about people who were caught and released by the Joe Biden administration who would have already been deported had they been allowed to do their job. This man right here, look at his face. This is Kenneth. He raped an 11-year-old girl at knife point and then made her sister watch.
So, I've got a question. So if the problem is that they're committing crimes, why shouldn't this be handled by police? I feel like there's a point at which jailing someone is probably more the right path than deportation, because at a point you're spending more money trying to find people and...
Sorry.
Sorry.
They're having a nice conversation with me. They can talk to me if they want to.
We needed them for something.
No, you don't. You're trying to pull them away from a conversation. We're having a respectful dialogue right now. Guys, don't let him do that to you.
We have to leave for lunch anyway.
That is so pathetic. What do you think?
I think absolutely. I'm an immigrant. Oh, well, I was born in this country, but my parents are immigrants. They're from Cuba. But absolutely, if you're illegal, why be here? I don't think it's fair for all the immigrants who came here legally that worked hard to get into this country. Why do they get to be here or other people don't? I think it's stupid.
Yeah. So you support ICE?
I do support ICE. I do.
As a child of immigrants.
As a child of immigrants, yes, I do.
Okay.
I think if you're illegal, that's the word illegal is there for a reason. If you're an immigrant, sure. If you're an illegal immigrant, then it's not good.
What do you think about some of the students on campus who want ICE to get off campus? They want ICE to be abolished, and they don't have any solution beyond that. They actually have no solution beyond I just want them off. What do we do then? Who would take care of the violent immigrants that have already been deported by ICE just in the last month? What do we do?
I don't really think there's anything to do with those people that think differently. I personally have friends that have, contradicting views. You try to talk to them and you try to inform to them as much as possible, but they're usually not so open to listening and expanding their horizon. I've come to find.
Yeah, I have also come to find that very cool. All right.